What was the sheriff doing up to his elbows in pie dough?
Making apple dumplings, of course.
Welcome to the Disney Scrapbook, where together we take a journey to explore Disney history from 50 years ago. My name is Nolan. Today, after we take a first look at Disney's 100-minute live-action comedy western film, The Apple Dumpling Gang. The film was successfully released in the US on July 4th, 1975, and in the UK on August 17th of that year. Here in part 1, we will look at the story origins and cast selection. Disney's main screenwriter for film during this time period, experienced TV writer Don Tate, adapted Jack M Bickham's 1971 children's comedic adventure story, The Apple Dumpling Gang, into a screenplay. Bickham's book was acknowledged as being the most rollicking and heartwarming tale since True Grit. Jack M Bickham was one of 3 names used by the prolific fiction author Jack Miles Bickham. Out of the 75 novels that they eventually have published, only 2 were ever made into motion pictures: The Apple Dumpling Gang, and in 1976, his 1974 novel, Baker's Hawk. Bickham's young adult novel contains some violent and adult themes, which the Disney screenplay has sanitized to create a family-friendly film. The novel has an episodic story structure, with each new chapter a new escapade to be explored. Bickham displays verbal prowess in crafting witty banter and humorous exchanges between characters. The screenplay seems to develop the story more, whereas the book spends more time on dialogue and debating issues, with excellent humor, lovable characters, and a delightful blend of wild escapades. Several changes are made from the original story of 5 orphan children, when it is streamlined into a screenplay about 3. The gangs raiding the bank were condensed from 3 to 2, and in Bickham's original novel, the local sheriff takes in the orphan children. However, in the screenplay, an itinerant gambler becomes their guardian. In the book, young Clovis gets kidnapped, not Celia, and the character of Dusty Clydesdale did not exist. The film was set in the western Gold Rush town of Quake City in 1879. Film production occurred between July 15th and November 1st, 1974. In his only on-screen appearance for Disney, Bill Bixby played the slick gambler Russel Donavan. Actor Bixby had become better known in the 1970s as Dr. David Bruce Banner in the Incredible Hulk TV series. Donovan rides into the gold town of Quake City, California, headed for New Orleans and looking for a poker game to help him on his way. Lady Luck eludes him. Donovan not only loses his last dollar, but is cornered into claiming sight unseen a shipment of valuables consigned to John Wintle, a local ne'er-do-well who was lit out for San Francisco. The valuables, 3 orphan children, arrive aboard a stagecoach and alter the trajectory of his life forever. Bixby's performance as the film's protagonist was convincing and appropriate for the role. He and Susan Clark, who plays Magnolia Dusty Clydesdale, a rough and ready stagecoach teamster who becomes Donovan's blushing bride, make a great contrasting duo after circumstances throw them together. Tall and willowy red-haired award-winning Canadian actress Susan Clark was experienced in Western roles, having made her movie debut in 1967 in the drama film Banning. However, everybody's performances are overshadowed by the outrageous antics of Don Knotts as Theodore and Tim Conway as Amos. Their performances pay homage to the physical slapstick comedy style of the Three Stooges. Just their body language and facial expressions alone make me laugh. It's like watching a live-action version of an early animated Disney cartoon filled with visual gags. The pair's comedic timing is impeccable, with Knotts playing the brains and Conway the brawn of a two-man crime ring of clumsy desperados who make up the hash knife outfit. For the actor who started as a self-taught ventriloquist, this was the first of a series of 6 Disney comedies in which Don Knotts starred, having become known by TV audiences as Deputy Barney Fife in the exceedingly popular sitcom The Andy Griffith Show, a role for which he earned 5 Emmy Awards. On February 23rd, 1972, he had made his first Disney appearance as Dr. Donald Knotts in the 5th episode, Physical Fitness, of the 30-minute weekly television series The Mouse Factory. Don Knotts claimed that he had changed his image for the role of Theodore Ogelvie. From a former 120-pound pipsqueak, he gained 5 pounds and confidence to become a character comedian. His portrayal of the bungling bank robber is hilarious, and a perfect straight man to Tim Conway's outlandish performance. Knotts claimed that it was the most fun he had ever had while making a movie. The hilariously incomparable Tim Conway played Amos Tucker, the second half of the bumbling hash knife outfit. Conway's comedy is fast and shoots from the hip. His antics as Florida Don Knotts had me in stitches. His character is definitely not the brains of the outfit. Actor, writer, comedian, and director Tim Conway, who initially thought he was going to be a phys ed teacher, but went to university for radio and TV, has delighted audiences for years. First gaining national recognition as Ensign Parker on the McHale's Navy teleseries, and subsequently by starring, for many years, in the Carol Burnett TV show. This would be his second film role for Disney, having already starred as Coach Marlo Jackson in The World's Greatest Athlete, a film that this channel has previously reviewed, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. I highly recommend reading, or even better listening, to the 8.5-hour audiobook of Tim Conway's autobiography, What's So Funny? Not only an informative book, but also an amusing read.
I spent almost 3 hours on this book, so I had 3 hours available on a Saturday, and I wrote the book.
I love his performance in this film. As Sheriff Homer McCoy, Harry Morgan had some great lines.
Everybody sit down and shut up!
The sheriff, who is the respected father figure of the town, also doubles as the town barber, justice of the peace, and judge. Morgan was a Disney regular at this time, and rumor had it that he always carried candy bars in his pockets. Ex-rodeo performer Slim Pickens makes another Disney appearance, this time as an antagonist, Frank Stillwell, the leader of the dangerous Stillwell gang. It was reputed that this character actor was extremely literal with his physicality on set, as attested to by other cast members. 13-year-old Clay O'Brien played protective Bobby Bradley, the eldest of the 3 orphans, a role he played well. He had previously performed with Disney as Mark in One Little Indian, a film this channel has previously reviewed and I will leave a link to in the description below, as well as parts in The WizKid and the Mystery at Riverton and Hog Wild. He would go on to do The WizKid and the Carnival Caper. Rodeo performer Clay O'Brien was the stepson of stuntman and wrangler Gene O'Brien, whose contacts helped land a TV role for Clay in 1971 as Fred Parker's son in Climb an Angry Mountain. This exposure earned him a 2-part episode in Gunsmoke, and in 1972 he made his film debut with John Wayne in The Cowboys. O'Brien will retire from acting after only 4 years to pursue his passion for rodeo roping, where he will go on to win a total of 7 World Team Roping Championships. Pug-nosed, freckle-faced Brad Savage was 8 when he played Clovis Bradley, after having been in show business since the age of 18 months. At this juncture in his career, he had been in 63 commercials and several television shows. His performance in this film catapulted him into the Disney fold. Blue-eyed, blonde-haired 6-year-old Stacey Manning, who had previously worked in commercials, played the young Celia Savage in this her only film role. She was perfect for the role, as the younger sibling determined to keep up with her elder brothers. She was given her own comedy gag of repeatedly needing the bathroom during their adventures. However, it can be seen that she found it difficult not to squint in the strong lights while filming. Bill Bixby delighted her during breaks in filming by performing magic tricks. I have watched this film on many occasions throughout the years, and still thoroughly enjoy the humor. Here we take a break. Please join me in part 2, where we will research the music, explore how some of the special effects are created, take a look at filming locations and critical reception. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy an evening of light entertainment and would like to watch The Apple Dumpling Gang before we meet again in part 2, it is available on iTunes, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Disney Plus, and of course DVD. If you enjoyed this type of 50th anniversary content, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. The Disney Scrapbook will be producing other 50th anniversary content throughout the year that will include reviews of Disney films, LPs, books, and pre-book content. Thanks everybody for watching. Please join me in part 2. TTFN, peace out for now.